المجلة.
أهلا وسهلا فيكم مشاهدينا بحلقة جديدة من المجلة الماجازين الأسبوعي. أبرز صفحات حلقة اليوم: لقاء مع المصور إدوارد برتينسكي، المدن أصبحت ملعب مع الباركور، بيركز المصور إدوارد برتينسكي على جمالية القبح لاستكشاف العلاقة المعقدة بالإنسان والطبيعة. صور مناظر طبيعية حولت إلى صناعية التقطها برتينسكي بهدف التوعية على المشاكل اللي بسببها التلوث والتوسع الصناعي المدعوم بالتكنولوجيا الحديثة واللي يؤدي إلى تدهور النظام الإيكولوجي. التقينا ببرتينسكي ضمن معرض برتينسكي أويل اللي بيضم 55 صورة بعدسة برتينسكي خلال عقد جيل في أنحاء العالم لالتقاط صور معبرة عن النفط أو ما يسمى بالذهب الأسود، مصدر الطاقة اللي خلق صورة جديدة لعالمنا الحديث. بدأ اهتمام برتينسكي بالنفط عام 1989 على أثر التسرب النفطي من الناقلة إكسون فالديز بألاسكا. هالحادثة اعتبرت أكبر كارثة بيئية بالمياه الإقليمية الأمريكية لحين انفجار المنصة النفطية العائمة ديبواتر هورايزون تابعة لشركة بريتيش بيتروليوم بخليج المكسيك بنيسان 2010، مما أدى إلى تسرب نحو 53 ألف برميل نفط يومياً. كارثة BP تعتبر حالياً الأخطر بتاريخ صناعة النفط والأكثر تأثيراً اجتماعياً، اقتصادياً، بيئياً وسياسياً على الولايات المتحدة. نتعرف أكثر على صور إدوارد برتينسكي بهالتقرير.
I see oil as that key building block in that it drives the energy for almost everything, from how we get our food to how we move ourselves around, to how we build our bridges and our buildings and our roadways, everything at its core. And governments derive so much of their tax base from not just the selling of the oil itself, the energy base, but also of all the things that it produces, the industrial era that is being driven by this fuel. So it is linked to so many aspects of the economy that you can't separate the economy from oil, that they're one. My interest in oil began in, well, I heard a story about the Exxon Valdez, and there was a radio report about the spill and how to prevent those kinds of oil spills from happening. And I kind of logged that in my memory. And then it kind of occurred to me in '97, I was continuing to do some work on mines. And then I started looking at everything that I was doing and all the things around me. And I realized that oil was this thing that was everywhere. Every surface, everything that we were doing as humans had been touched by oil. So I kind of refer to that as my oil epiphany, that here's something that we don't really ever experience directly, but are experiencing in some way in our lives every day. So then I started to try and come up with ideas that began to shape the idea of how do you make something that's invisible, which is oil, visible, through the photographic medium. So I did oil refineries in '97, spent a few years photographing refineries as a place where that transition happens from a crude product to the refined products that we use. And then I went after that, I started saying, well, let's go to the landscapes where we draw this stuff from. So I went to Baku in Azerbaijan. I went to California, where oil was discovered. I went to Alberta, where oil sands is being exploited. And then I started looking at where all that stuff goes, where cars were being recycled, where oil filters and engines and tires, and I started looking at all the byproducts of the automotive industry and where they go. And then the third chapter that I kind of thought in terms of is the kind of cultures that exist with the motor vehicle at the center of their interests. So whether it's a motorcycle rally or whether it's Bonneville speed records in the salt flats or whether it's a NASCAR race. And so there was this kind of oil at the center of the theater, that it was a celebration of both the fuel and the machine together to create speed or to create excitement as a kind of as entertainment. The images do reveal a lot about who we are and the kinds of things that we are doing out there in the world. The stuff I did in Azerbaijan is interesting because I think it's in the top 10 disastrous environmental sites. I think it ranks first or second all the time. But it is one of those places where after the Soviets left and the fields were drained dry, it was kind of the whole area was left for dead. And a lot of oil was left in pools just sitting there. So it was really one of the few places where it is this kind of end of the line for that landscape and for the extraction of that material. So once we leave, once we have no more, we can't get much anything else from it, this is what happens. These have been left 20 years ago. This is what it looks like. Also in this exhibition there's some work from Bangladesh where they take apart those oil tankers, total disregard for human health and danger and a very polluted landscape. You can't find that kind of activity anywhere in North America. You'd be shut down in a millisecond.
These oil tankers still had sludge and crude at the bottom of the ships that had to be scraped out, and it was all done by hand. You know, 18, 19, 20-year-old boys, even younger, in oil up to their necks. It's very, very low-paid work and very dangerous work, so you rarely see anybody over 30 at work there.
I still believe that landscapes can tell us things about who we are. They are ways in which we can reflect upon our own self and how we build our own lives and how we live. And the landscape reveals a lot of our values. And I think that we've always, like any species, we take from nature, and sometimes it's in a destructive form. What's changed now is the scale and speed of the taking. And now with 6.5 billion. So we have to ask ourselves the question, what's driving that huge population growth? Well, it is oil. Without oil, I've heard that estimates like 1.5 billion people. So oil's allowed us, our civilization, to overreach, I think. The whole period right now where there is, the resource is still alive and well and it's still earning a lot of money, that money has to be properly considered to create worlds that are sustainable. Like for instance in Abu Dhabi, they're building Masdar, which is a sustainable city, so it's taking a leadership role in trying to say, look, we want to start producing things that the world wants, not just selling barrels of oil. Sustainability has been something that I've been an advocate for vocally, certainly for the last decade. And I work with different organizations towards bringing out information, world-changing, to create a world that has a future to it versus one that has no future. We might be in this peak oil time where we'll never have more than this. When that supply line starts drying up, the world will change rapidly.
جهود إدوارد برتينسكي لتحقيق الاستدامة كوفئت بجائزة تيد المرموقة اللي تقدر ب$100,000. هالجائزة تمنح سنوياً لفرد حقق إنجازات بناءة خلال مؤتمر تيد. هالمؤتمر كناية عن 3 كلمات: Technology, Entertainment and Design، أي تكنولوجيا، ترفيه وتصميم، لنشر أفكار جديدة بتساهم بتحسين المجتمع. بعد الفاصل تقرير عن الباركور أو فن الحركة. خليكن معنا.
المجلة.
عودة لمتابعة حلقة المجلة. منشاهدها بأفلام الأكشن، وحتى أصبحت آخر صيحة بعالمنا العربي هي ما يعرف بالباركور. الباركور فن الانتقال من مكان إلى آخر بطريقة سريعة وفعالة فقط من خلال استعمال الطاقة البدنية والفكرية. المشي على الحيطان، القفز فوق الحواجز وتخطي العوائق من أبرز الأساليب المعتمدة بالباركور اللي استمدت أصلا من الطبيعة البشرية الحرة والرافضة للطغيان. فكما بيتخطى الجسد بالباركور الحواجز المادية، بيتخطى الفكر حواجز الألم والخوف لمواجهة الحياة بمختلف أوجهها. بدأ الباركور بفرنسا على يد مجموعة من الرياضيين الفرنسيين أبرزهم ديفيد بيل وسيباستيان فوكان، وساهمت عدة أفلام وثائقية على مر السنين بانتشار الباركور بالعالم. أما نقطة انطلاق الباركور إلى العالمية كان إعلان رش أور لقناة الBBC عام 2001 من تمثيل ديفيد بيل. هالإعلان دفع بمارك تورك إلى احتراف الباركور وتعليمه.
Oh, you guys were filming that? Oh my God! Cut. Cut. Parkour is an art, a sport. It's a discipline. It's something that we train our bodies and our minds by using obstacle coursing or getting over, around, through obstacles, and a lot of conditioning as kind of the method for training. There's definitely a definition of parkour that says that parkour is getting from point A to point B as quickly and efficiently as possible. So really what we're doing is practicing the hardest way, because that trains our body and our mind. And then once you acquire those skills, yes, you can get from point A to point B more quickly, because obstacles are no longer obstacles. I compare it to martial arts in a lot of ways. Bruce Lee and his philosophy was strip away everything that doesn't work. He was against dogma. He said, if you punch this way and it works, then keep doing it. If you kick this way and it works, keep doing it. And if it works for you, keep doing it. And that's how he built his whole system of Jeet Kune Do. You're pushing your body, you're pushing your mind, you're learning to do new things. Parkour is very much the same. It started in France about 20 years ago with a guy named David Bell, and then he and a bunch of friends kind of developed it into a kind of more serious form of play, just running and jumping in a playground like most kids would do. And they took it another step and another step and another step until they were really phenomenally capable human beings. There are people all over the world practicing parkour. There are people all over the world using parkour in popular media, in music videos, in television commercials, in movies, and all kinds of things. A lot of people will recognize it, they'll recognize movements, but they don't know the name of it. So they saw it in James Bond Casino Royale. So it's not a household word, but I feel like it's gonna be a household word within the next year or two. Parkour is much more about a personal sense. You do something enough times that you know you can do it, or you know what your next step is, you know where your boundaries are. And again, the only gear really that helps is a good pair of shoes. And good is good traction, good grip, and actually not so much padding. So it's better to have a slightly thinner shoe that gives you more feeling for what you're landing on. There are people who come to the gym and take our 6-week boot camp, and that's just learning the basic movements. But we try and do a full range of exercises that will warm up all of the muscles in the body. There's no part of the body that parkour doesn't use, which is what separates it from a lot of different forms of exercise. We also teach them that that is moving up towards being able to do it outdoors, being able to do it however it best suits their body and their movement. So anybody can get started, and they just develop from whatever point they're at. You saw me doing some stuff earlier today. I'm 38, and you saw guys that were 22. It's all the same. It's all just each person developing on their own path. Safety is really important. You should start really small. You should start with moves that are well within your boundaries, and then you increase your boundaries, and then you grow, but you do it step by step by step. Instead of just running and jumping off something, you'll get hurt. Most accidents that occur in parkour aren't when someone is focused in the moment and doing the movement. It's when they come up to something and they stop, or they overthink it. And that causes them to stop, they lose their momentum, and they don't reach their target or their objective. So hesitation really does cause injury and broken bones. Parkour really comes with a set of ethics. One of the things we practice we call leave no trace. And leave no trace means when you go to a training area, leave it better than you found it. So we interact with our environment. We're not there to damage anything. And a lot of times we'll actually go out with trash bags and gloves and we'll pick up trash just to make an area nicer so that when we train there, we can enjoy it and everybody else can enjoy it. I think it's moving. I think it's a little bit slower in the Middle East than it is in some other parts of the world. We went to Lebanon. We were invited by the U.S. Embassy, and it was great. They bused in kids from about 10 different school districts. So kids from all over Lebanon came. We did a demonstration on a big set with boxes and bars and things. And then we took the kids through, and on padding, we taught them how to jump and land and roll and do some underbars and some of the basic movements. So hopefully, you know, they're taking that and going out and doing a little bit on their own. Parkour really is a very natural thing. So when people see it, they go, oh, I could jump over something, I could grab something, I could swing on something, and people want to try it. The physical benefits, every aspect of physicality is benefited. Balance, speed, stamina, endurance, power, strength, explosiveness, timing, all of those things are benefited, and it's very natural exercise. It's all using your body the way your body was meant to move. So that's definitely a benefit, is all the physical stuff, but also the mental stuff. Pushing yourself through a challenge, you can see when somebody does something that they weren't previously able to do, that's how you gain confidence. And in my opinion, that's the only true way to gain self-confidence, is to do something difficult. Nobody can give you self-confidence. Nobody can tell you, oh, you're great. If you go and do something that's difficult, that you have to try and try and try, when you're done with that, you know you've gained something. You've gained something for yourself that nobody can take away, and that's a benefit, and then you have confidence. And the next time you approach a problem, whatever the problem is, if it's physical, if it's in your life or relationship, at work, whatever it is, you have a new set of tools, you have new confidence to say, okay, I can make it through this.
مشاهدينا، وقتنا لليوم انتهى. لمعلومات أكثر عن المجلة تابعونا على جروب المجلة على الفيسبوك. قبل ما ننهي الحلقة بقدم لكم لمحة عن نسخة المجلة القادمة. لقاء مع النحات آل فارو. استخدام الأشعة الشمسية للطهي مع Solar Household Energy. بتأمل الحلقة تكون نالت إعجابكم. لملاحظاتكم راسلونا على البريد الإلكتروني المجلة@الحرة.com، وأنا بلاقيكم الأسبوع القادم، وأكيد رح تكونوا على الموعد.
المجلة.